So in this video, we are going to learn how to create a new task in TickTick for new Google Form responses. Now suppose guys, you and your team members are using TickTick to create or manage a new task for your project. And you want that whenever you receive a new form submission from Google Forms, you want to add those details, and with that form submission, you want to create a task in TickTick. So let me tell you guys, you can actually automate this process. And in this automation, whenever a new form response will be received in Google Forms, automatically with the same details, a new task will be created in TickTick. So if you want to know how you can set up this automation, for that, you just have to come with me to my screen.
So as you can see, here we are on Pabbly Connect's dashboard. Now to reach this dashboard, you will get a free sign-up link of Pabbly Connect in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can create your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. And after reaching to this dashboard, just click on Create Workflow and give this workflow a name. For example, I would like to name my workflow as Google Forms to TickTick. And then just click on Create. Now you can see that our workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, we have 2 different windows. First one is the trigger window and second one is the action window. So triggers and actions are basically those 2 concepts, those 2 principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's begin with the trigger window. Now the idea here is, first we have to connect our Google Forms account, our Google Form which we have created with Pabbly Connect, so that every time we receive a new form response, a new task details via this Google Form submission, automatically the details of that form submission, that task should be received inside our Pabbly Connect workflow. And after this, using Pabbly Connect, we are going to send those new task details to TickTick. So using those details, we can create a task over here as well. So let's see how it is done. So here in our trigger window, in Choose App, search for Google Forms. Just select it. And then in Trigger Event from the drop-down, select New Response Received as the trigger event. After selecting our trigger event, Pabbly Connect gave us a webhook URL. Now we are going to use this webhook URL to connect our Google Forms with Pabbly Connect. So here guys, what we have to do, we just have to follow the help text given below over here. So the help text says Google Form responses are collected in Google Sheet. So follow this below steps in order to get the new response. Now we all know guys, the form submission, the form responses of Google Forms are stored into a Google Sheet. So what we have to do, we have to add this webhook URL in that particular Google Sheet. And from that Google Sheet, we are going to instantly get the form responses, form submission data from Google Forms inside Pabbly Connect. And to add this webhook URL, we just have to follow the help text given below over here. Just copy this webhook URL from here and go to the form which we have created in Google Forms. So this is the simple form which I have created, where I am asking task name, description, the start date and time of the task into this specific format, and also the due date and time of this task which we want to create. So right now we are in the questions tab of this form. We just have to go to responses and then click on this link to sheets button. Select create a new spreadsheet and click on create. Now when we click on create guys, in a new tab we will see a Google spreadsheet opens in front of us. And in this spreadsheet, this will be the same spreadsheet in which our Google Form responses are going to get stored. After coming to our sheet, just go to extensions, add-ons and click on get add-ons. After clicking on get add-ons, here what you have to do, we have reached to Google Workspace Marketplace. And here in search app, we have to search for Pabbly Connect webhooks. So here you can see that Pabbly Connect webhooks, this add-on is already installed in my Google Sheets. You just have to install this same add-on into your own Google Sheets account, and after installing it, you just have to refresh your Google Sheets once. This is a very important step. Now after refreshing our Google Sheet, once again go to extensions, and this time you will see Pabbly Connect webhooks. This add-on can be seen over here. Just hover on it and click on Initial Setup. After clicking on Initial Setup, the first thing it asks us is the selected sheet. So here in selected sheet, by default, it has selected the sheet in which we are getting our form responses. Then it is asking us for the webhook URL. Now here in this field of webhook URL, we have to paste the exact same webhook URL which we have copied from Pabbly Connect. Just copy it from here and then paste it over here. At last, it is asking us for the trigger column. Now here you must be thinking, what is this trigger column? So our trigger column is basically the last data entry column of our Google Sheet. that column we have to select as a trigger column. So here in the background, you will see column E is the last data entry column in which any of my data would exist, in which any of my form submission responses will exist. After column E and in any of the column, none of my data does not exist. So I'm going to select column E as a trigger column. After entering it, just click on this submit button over here. And here it is showing us setup configured successfully. Just close this window. Once again, we have to go to extensions, Pabbly Connect webhooks, and this time we have to select this send on event option. By selecting send on event, we are telling this Google Sheet, we are telling this add-on that whenever we receive a new form submission data, a new form response in this Google Sheet, in a new row, immediately, instantly send that data to Pabbly Connect using this webhook URL. So here guys, we have successfully connected our Google Forms or the Google Sheet in which we are going to get the form responses with Pabbly Connect. And here in Pabbly Connect, it is showing us waiting for webhook response. This means Pabbly Connect is waiting to get some form submission data, some form responses from Google Forms. So we have successfully made the connection. Now let's make a test form submission. We will switch back to this questions tab, and here in this form, we are going to make a test form submission. Let's open this form in preview mode and enter the details of a test task. For example, I would like to name my task as my first task. This is just a dummy name. Let's add a description as we are just setting up this automation. Then we have to enter the date and time, that what is the start date and time of this task. And the help text says we have to enter this date and time in this specific format. Why we have to enter the date and time in specific format? We will see this in this video in the later part. So let's enter the start date and time of this task in this format of year, month, day, and then after a T, hours, minutes, and seconds. So the year is 2023, then the month is May, and the date is first. Then we have to add a T between date and time. The start time is 10 a.m. and the minutes are 0 as well as the seconds. And in the same format, we also have to enter the due date and time of this task as well. So let's enter year, month, and day is 6th. And then after T, the time is, for example, 4th. So we have to enter the time in 24 hours format. So it will be 1600 hours 0000. So in this particular format only, we have to enter the start date and time and end date and time, due date and time of this task. Now let's click on submit. After clicking on submit, we will see just now we have received a new form response in our Google form. And because we have connected this form with Pabbly Connect, here in our Pabbly Connect workflow, we will see we will capture the exact same form response. And yes, here in our trigger window, you can see that we have received this response. And in this response, you will see the same form submission details, the same task name, the same description of this task which we have added, the same start date and time into the exact same format, and also you can see the same due date and time of the task which we have entered in the exact same format. So here guys, the step 1 of setting up this automation is completed. We have successfully connected our Google Forms account with Pabbly Connect in such a way that whenever a new form response, a new form submission is received in Google Forms, we will get that same data in our Pabbly Connect workflow, and this automation workflow will trigger. After getting the form response, we want to automatically send these form responses to TickTick so that we can create a task using these details over there. For that, just scroll down, come to our action window, and here in Choose App, search for TickTick. Just select it. After selecting TickTick, here in Action Event from the drop-down, select Create a Task as the action event. Click on Connect and select Add New Connection. Now here guys, we have to connect our TickTick account with Pabbly Connect. So to make this connection, click on this Connect with TickTick button, and then here, because I have already logged into my TickTick account in my browser, Pabbly Connect has detected the same account. Just click on this Allow button to give the permission, and then we will see our TickTick account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the first thing it asks us is the project ID. That in our TickTick account, you might have created multiple projects over there. So out of all of them, in which particular project using this automation, we want to create a new task. So to get the project ID, what you have to do, you just have to go to your TickTick account and you have to open the project in which you want to create this task. I have a project named as PC, this list. And in this particular list, I want to create the new task. So here guys, what we have to do, after opening this project, here in the URL section, you will see this project ID before /task and after #p/. So this is the project ID of our TickTick project. So whatever project you want to create the task, open that project and from the URL section, copy the project ID. After that, get back to Pabbly Connect and paste the project ID over here. After mentioning the project ID, the next thing it asks us is the task title. That what is the title of this new task which we want to create. So we have entered the task title in our Google form and we have captured the Google form responses inside Pabbly Connect in our trigger window. Here you can see the task name, the title of the task. So from these responses guys, we have to map this response of the task name over here in this field of task name or task title. And guys, the process of mapping is very simple. Simply click on this field and in this drop down, from the drop down, you can see a list of all the responses which we have received from Google Forms. And out of all of these responses, select this response of task name and it will be mapped over here. So in this way, whatever task name we are going to get from Google Forms inside Pabbly Connect, with the same name, the new task will be created in TickTick. Then it is asking us for the task content, that what is the content, what is the description of this task. So we have also received the description or the content of this task from Google Form responses. So from these responses, we are going to map this response over here in this content section. Just click here and from the drop down from Google Form responses, select the response of task description and map it over here. Now after this, we have to enter the start date, that at what date and time we want this task to start, what is the start date and time. And the help text says, provide start date and time in year, month, day, t, hours, minutes, seconds, and z format. Example this. So here guys, while creating the form, we have entered the details of start date and time and due date and time of this task into the specific format. This is the reason. Because TickTick asks us the start date and due date into a specific time and date and time format, that's why we have entered that details over here in that specific format. So from Google Form responses, we have received the start date and time and end date and time of this task as well into the required format. So one by one, we are going to map those details over here. So from this drop down, let's map the start date. And after that, in this example, you can see after date and time, it has also added +00, like plus and 4 times 0. This defines the time zone over here. So we also have to add plus and then we have to enter the time zone. So if you are creating this task according to the UTC time zone, then you have to enter zeros over here, 4 zeros. But right now I am in India. And in India, the Indian time zone is 5 hours and 30 minutes ahead of UTC time zone. So I'm going to add 5 hours 30 minutes 0530 over here plus over here. According to your country, according to your country's time zone using which you want to create this task, you have to enter this value over here. Similarly, we have to enter the due date as well. So from Google Form responses, map the response of due date, and after mapping this in this particular format, we have to enter the time zone as well. So plus 0530, that Indian time zone, plus 530 hours. Then it is asking us all day, that is this task is going to get all day. So I'm selecting false over here and then time zone. So here in time zone, I'm going to enter the time zone of India, that is Asia, Kolkata. Asia, Kolkata. So this is the time zone according to which we want to create this task. At last, it is asking us for the priority, that what is the priority of this task. So from this drop down, we are going to select the priority as medium. Because I want that whenever I create a new task from this Google Form responses, the priority of that task should be medium. And after this, just click on Save and Send Test Request. After clicking on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see that we have received some response. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the data which we have mapped over here, basically the details of a new task which we have received from Google Forms, using these details, a task in TickTick has been created. So let's check it. We will go to TickTick and yes, here you can see that a new task in TickTick is created. The name of the task is my first task, the same task name which we have given in Google Form submission. Then here you can see the same description of the task which we have added in Google Form, and the start date and time and end date and time is exactly the same. First May 10 AM was the start date and time of this task which we have entered while submitting this form. Here you can see that in this Google Sheet, the form submission data, 1st May 2023, 10 a.m. And the end date is 6th May, 4 p.m. So here's the 6th May, 1600 hours, that is 4 p.m. This means, guys, the automation workflow which we have created in Pabbly Connect is working perfectly fine. And using this automation, whenever a new form submission is received in Google Forms, automatically using that data, a new task will be created in TickTick. Now, after setting up this automation, let's test this automation workflow once. We are going to make another form submission. For example, the name of the task is real-time test. This is the name, and the description is we are testing this automation. The start date and time and end date and time is 2023 May 03, 3rd May 2023, and time is, for example, 12 p.m. And then the end date and time, due date and time for this is 4 p.m. The same day, but the time is 4 p.m. So 4 p.m. should be 1600 hours. And then just click on submit. As we click on submit, we will see we have just now received a new form submission in Google Forms. And as we receive this form submission, with the same details, automatically a task will be created in TickTick. And yes, here you can see that instantly within seconds, a task in TickTick is created. Real-time test, this is the name of the task, same task name which we have given in form submission. Same task description, as you can see over here, and the same start date and end date and time. So the task was about to start at 3rd of May at 12 p.m. Here you can see that 12 p.m. is the time, and the due date or due time was 4 p.m. on the same day. So here you can see the same date and time too. This means we have tested this automation in real time and it is working perfectly fine. So not just these applications, you can connect plenty of other applications with Pabbly Connect. And guys, one more important thing. You will find the clone link of this exact same workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can clone the same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account. And guys, not just these applications, you can connect plenty of other applications with Pabbly Connect. Also, let me tell you, Pabbly Connect offers you a free plan. And in this plan, you will get some free tasks every month into your own Pabbly Connect account. So if you want to try and test this automation, you can clone it from the link in the description box, and then you can try this automation for free.
If you have any kind of doubts or queries, you can post them on forum.pabbly.com. So if this video was helpful to you, you can obviously like this video, comment down your suggestion, and don't forget to share it with others. So guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.